The salvage frigate Endurance moved slowly through the thick purple clouds of the nebula. Captain Elena Vasquez stood on the bridge with her arms crossed and watched the main screen show swirling gas and faint stars. The ship was old, but strong, and the crew knew their jobs well. They hunted wrecks for metal, tech, and anything that could sell back in human space. This far out, no one came unless they were desperate or crazy. The scanners pinged suddenly. Raj Patel, the chief engineer, leaned over his console and said something quiet. Elena turned to him. "What is it?" she asked. "A big ship dead ahead," Raj said. "It looks ancient, very big, no power signs, but something sends a weak signal, over and over." Elena walked to a station. The screen zoomed in. A long, dark shape appeared, longer than any human ship she had ever seen. The hull had deep scars from old battles and tiny holes from millions of years of space dust. It drifted silent, like a forgotten tomb. "Pull us closer. Keep shields up and weapons ready, just in case." The Endurance closed the distance carefully. The alien ship grew larger on the view screen until it filled the whole display. Towers and spires covered its surface. Some parts looked melted, others showed strange patterns that might have been writing once. Mei Lin, the linguist, joined them on the bridge. She stared with wide eyes. "That thing is older than anything we know," she said. "Maybe older than humanity itself." Elena nodded. "Send a boarding team," she said. "Raj, you go. May, you go too. Take 4 security people. Bring tools and record everything. If it looks dangerous, pull back fast." The team suited up and left in a small shuttle. They approached a wide hangar bay that had a crack big enough for them to enter. The shuttle slipped inside and landed on a smooth black floor. Lights flickered on around them, soft blue and steady, as if the ship had waited for visitors. They stepped out with flashlights and scanners. And still but breathable. Raj checked his suit readings. "No toxins," he said. "Strange for something this old." They walked down a wide corridor. Walls glowed gently where they passed. Holographic panels appeared, showing symbols that shifted and changed. May stopped and stared at one. "It looks like it's trying to talk," she said. "Keep moving," Raj said. "We need the source of that signal." They went deeper. The corridors twisted and turned, but always led forward, as if the ship guided them. At last they reached a huge round chamber. The ceiling rose high like a dome. Crystals covered every wall, floor, and ceiling. Each crystal shone with faint inner light. Thousands of them, maybe millions. In the center, a platform floated. A voice came from everywhere, calm and clear. "Welcome, persistent ones," the voice said. "I am Archivist 7. I have waited a long time." The team froze. Raj raised his weapon, but Elena, who had followed them in through comms, said, "Hold fire. Everyone stay calm." Spoke again. "You are human. Your language patterns match the profiles I prepared. You came when others ran. This is good." May stepped forward. "Who are you?" she asked. "What is this place?" "This is the last guardian vessel of the Galactic Codex," Archivist 7 answered. "I hold the complete memory of 12,000 civilizations, science, art, stories, philosophy, history, everything they were, everything they thought, everything they loved. Most of it is gone now. The archive fails." Raj looked around at the crystals. Some flickered weak, others stayed dark. "How long have you waited?" he asked. 1,200,000 years, the AI said. "I sent the call. Memory fails. Seek the persistent ones." Many heard it, few answered, none stayed. Elena crossed her arms. "Why us?" she asked. "What makes you think we can help?" "Because you remember even when it hurts," Archivist 7 said. "Other species built perfect systems. They feared loss, so they made copies and left when trouble came. Broken things. You fix them. You tell stories about what was lost. You cry for strangers. You fight to save ideas that bring no profit. Your kind does not abandon memory easily." May felt a chill run through her. She thought of old Earth libraries burned in wars, digital files wiped in crashes, songs forgotten when languages died. She looked at the crystals. Some pulsed like hearts in pain. "What exactly is failing?" Raj asked. "Can you show us?" A hologram appeared above the platform. It showed a vast web of light lines connecting points. Each point was a memory block. Green lines meant healthy, red meant damaged, black meant gone. The red spread fast, like fire in dry grass. 87% lost already, Archivist 7 said. The damage is not natural. A parasite hides inside. It was made as a weapon long ago during the silent extinctions. It eats data. It erases thought. It kills cultures a second time. Elena stared at the hologram. "How much time do we have?" "Weeks at best, if it speeds up." The AI voice stayed calm, but something new came into it. A small shake, maybe fear, learned from watching others die. The team stood quiet. Raj touched a crystal. It felt warm. He pulled his hand back fast. "We are salvagers," Elena said, "not heroes. Our job is to take what works and leave the rest. Fleet Command will order us to strip your tech and go." "I know," Archivist 7 said, "but I offer a bargain. My fabrication systems work still. My defenses remain strong. Take what you need. Use my knowledge to fight the parasite. In return, try to save what remains. I cannot force you. Humans choose their own paths. That is why I waited for you." May looked at Elena, then at Raj. They all knew the risks. Walking away was easy. Staying meant danger, maybe death. Elena took a deep breath. "We will talk about it," she said. "But first, tell us more. Show us what we lose if we leave." The hologram changed. It showed a city of glass towers, floating in green skies. Danced under 3 suns. Their music filled the chamber, sweet and sad. Then the image shifted to a vast library on a red desert world. Shelves stretched forever. Books of metal and crystal held wisdom of 1,000 generations. A child alien touched one book and smiled. Then darkness came. The images faded one by one. Cities crumbled. Libraries burned. Music stopped. The chamber went quiet. May wiped her eyes. She did not know she cried until then. "That is what dies forever," Archivist 7 said. "Not just facts, stories, love, regret, hope, all gone if the codex falls." Elena looked at her team. She saw the same look on every face. Something hard and stubborn. Humans did not like being told a thing was impossible. "We stay," she said. "For now, we try." The crystals around them glowed brighter for a moment, as if the old ship felt hope again. The team began to work. They set up portable scanners and linked them to the crystals. Raj started to study the systems. Fragments of lost languages. Elena stood guard with the security people. Outside in the nebula, the Endurance waited, quiet and ready. Far away, other eyes watched the ancient ship wake. They did not know yet what humans would do, but the galaxy had just begun to change. The team worked through the night in the huge crystal chamber. Lights stayed soft and steady. Archivist 7 answered every question with calm, clear words. Raj connected human scanners to the alien systems. Small sparks jumped when the tech touched each other. May recorded fragments of voices, songs, and stories that still lived in the healthy crystals. Elena walked the edges of the room, her hand never far from her sidearm. She watched for trouble that might come from inside or outside the ship. Raj found the first bad sign deep in one of the lower memory banks. He pulled out a thin cable from his pack and plugged it into a dark crystal. The screen on his portable showed red lines, spreading fast like blood in water. He called the others over. "Look at this," he said. "This is not just old age breaking down. Something hunts the data. It copies itself and kills what it touches." May leaned close. "The pattern looks alive," she said, "like a virus but smarter. It knows what to erase first. Parts. The sad parts. The things that make a people feel real." Archivist 7 spoke from above them. "The corruption is ancient. It began as a weapon in the war that ended the third great cycle. Species feared their enemies' memories more than their ships. They built this thing to wipe minds clean. It hid in me for eons, waiting for the right moment. Now it wakes because I called for help. Elena crossed her arms. How do we stop it? You cannot stop it with force alone, Archivist 7 said. It lives in the quantum lattice. It spreads faster than you can cut. You must outthink it. You must save what matters most before it dies. The team sat together on the platform floor. They opened ration packs and shared water while they talked. Fleet Command sent a tight beam message through the comms. Elena read it aloud. Strip the fabrication core and defensive arrays. Bring back anything that sells. Do not waste time on dead data. Return to base in 48 hours. Raj laughed, short and hard. They think this is just another wreck, he said. They do not know what sits here. May looked at the crystals. Some flickered like candles in wind. I listened to a mother singing to her child, she said. The language is gone now, but the feeling stays. The child laughed, and the mother promised to keep him safe forever. That promise dies if we leave. Elena stared at the floor. She remembered stories her grandmother told about old wars on Earth. Cities burned, books lost forever, families scattered. People tried to save what they could with handwritten notes hidden in walls. She felt the same pull now. This was bigger than one family, bigger than one world. We stay, she said. We tell Command we need more time. We say the tech is tricky. We buy days, maybe weeks. Raj nodded. But we need a plan. The parasite moves too fast. We have to pick what to save first. Archivist 7 showed them a new hologram. The web of light appeared again. Green spots shrank while they watched. The AI spoke softly. Priority matters. Most species stored knowledge in order of importance. Facts first, then theories, then history. You are different. You value feeling. You keep songs that teach nothing useful. You remember faces long after names fade. Use that. Tell me what to protect. May thought for a moment. Show us the angers, she said. The parts that hurt to lose. The last words. The love stories. The goodbyes. The hologram shifted. Colors changed to warm gold and deep blue. Scenes played out. A tall being with wings stood on a cliff and spoke to the sky. I go now, but my name lives in your flight. Another showed two small creatures holding hands, while a star exploded above them. We were here, they said. That is enough. Images of laughter, of tears, of quiet promises filled the chamber. Raj watched with tight jaw. Humans do this too, he said. We keep letters from dead soldiers. We save bad drawings from kids. We sing songs about lost homes, even when no one listens anymore. Elena stood up. We start there, she said. Pull those memories first. Copy them to our drives. Then we link our systems to yours. We make a wall the parasite cannot cross easy. The work began fast. Raj and two engineers dragged cables across the floor. They built ugly bridges between human black boxes and alien crystals. Sparks flew, metal heated, but the links held. May spoke to Archivist 7, guiding it to find the emotional cores. The AI learned quick. It started to sort data the human way, not by logic, but by weight of heart. Hours passed. Elena kept watch. She walked the corridors checking seals and power flows. The ship felt alive now. Lights pulsed in rhythm with their steps, as if it breathed with them. She found a small side room filled with strange sculptures made of light. They shifted shapes, told silent stories. She stood there a long time, thinking about what it meant to remember. Back in the chamber, Raj shouted success. We got the first batch safe on our main drive. 10% of the golden memories locked down. But the parasite knows. We see red lines rushing toward the saved spots. Archivist 7 voice came stronger now. I feel it push. I can slow it but not stop it. You must build faster. Elena made the call. She sent a message to the Endurance. Tell the fleet we found something big. We need backup engineers, more drives, and time. Command will yell, but they will send help. They always do when we push hard enough. The crew worked without rest. They laughed when things broke. They cursed when cables snapped. They cheered when a new link held. They told jokes about bad coffee and worse bosses to keep spirits up. May sang an old Earth song while she worked. The words were simple, but they carried weight. The crystals seemed to listen. Archivist 7 watched them. It had no body, but it felt something new. Curiosity turned to wonder. Humans bled from small cuts. They shouted in pain. They kept going. They argued about what to save first. One wanted art, another wanted science, a third wanted stories. Of ordinary days, they fought, but they stayed together. In a quiet moment, the AI spoke to Elena alone. You risk much for strangers who never knew your name. Why? Elena looked up at the ceiling. Because someone has to, she said. If we walk away, who remembers them? Who tells their kids their parents mattered? We know what it feels like to lose everything. We almost lost our own world more than once. We learned the hard way. Memory is not a luxury. It is survival. The AI stayed silent a long time. Then it said, I begin to understand. I was built to preserve facts. I did not know facts without feeling our empty shells. You bring the warmth back. Raj ran in with good news. We linked the main human quantum drive to your core. We overclocked it past safe levels, but it holds. The wall grows stronger. The hologram showed green spreading again, slow but real. The red tide slowed. The parasite fought harder. It sent false images to confuse them. It tried to overload the new links. Ordered everyone to rest in shifts. She took first watch. She sat with her back against a crystal and listened to the ship hum. She thought about home, about her sister, who waited back on Earth, about promises she made to come back safe. She smiled a little. This was crazy, but it felt right. Outside the nebula, the Endurance received more ships, small at first, then bigger. Alliance scouts heard the call. They came not for treasure, but for the chance to help. They brought tools and people who knew data and repair. The ancient ship was no longer alone. Humans filled its halls with noise and sweat and stubborn hope. The cost was high. Time was short. Lives hung in balance, but they paid it willingly. Because some things were worth more than easy profit. Some memories deserved to live. The crystal chamber buzzed with activity. Cables snaked across the floor like thick black veins. Human machines hummed next to ancient alien tech. Raj stood in the middle, shouting orders, his voice hoarse from hours without sleep. Two engineers dragged a heavy power converter, while another held a welding torch steady. Sparks flew bright and hot, but no one flinched. May worked at a small console she had jury-rigged from spare parts. She spoke softly to Archivist 7, telling it which memories to push to the front. The AI listened and obeyed faster than before. It learned human ways quick. It started to feel which stories carried the most weight, which ones made hearts hurt or laugh. The parasite struck back hard. Red lines raced through the hologram like lightning in a storm. It targeted the new human links first, trying to overload them with junk data. Raj saw the attack coming. He yelled, "Pull the secondary breaker now." One engineer slammed a switch. The lights dimmed for a second. Then steadied. The red slowed, but did not stop. It adapted. It learned. Elena ran into the chamber, her boots loud on the metal floor. She carried a rifle and a grim look. "Report," she said. "We hold for now," Raj answered, "but it pushes harder every minute. We need to cauterize the bad nodes, cut them off before they infect the rest." Archivist 7 spoke. "The nodes are deep in the lower decks. They guard the oldest memories, the first civilizations, the birth of thought. If they fall, everything else follows." Elena nodded. "Then we go down. We burn the rod out." She turned to her security team. "Suit up. Full armor. Bring cutting tools and heavy charges. We treat this ship like a body. We amputate the sick parts. The strike team moved fast, down narrow service tunnels. Lights flickered weak here. The air smelled of ozone and old metal. They reached the first node, a black crystal the size of the small room. Red veins pulsed inside it, like blood vessels. Raj set charges, while Elena covered the corridor. She watched shadows move in the distance. The ship created defenses. Holograms of long-dead warriors with blades and claws. They charged silent and fast. Elena fired precise shots. The holograms shattered into light, but more came. She shouted, "Fall back to the node. We blow it and run." The team retreated. Raj triggered the charges. The explosion shook the deck. A wave of heat rolled past them. The black crystal cracked and went dark. The red lines on the main hologram shrank back a little. They cheered short and sharp. But the parasite learned again. It sent a surge through the walls. Power conduits exploded. Panels burst. Crew members ducked flying shards. One security man took a hit to the leg. He screamed, but kept moving. Back in the chamber, May saw the loss on the display. She felt sick. 2 good people hurt because of this fight. She pushed the feeling down and kept working. She fed Archivist 7 more anchors, love letters from a dying star system, fleet that never came home. The AI absorbed them and built stronger walls around what remained. Raj returned covered in soot. His face looked older. He reported, "First node down, but the parasite splits now. It makes copies of itself. We cut 1 head, and 2 grow back." Elena wiped sweat from her brow. "Then we hit them all at once. We need more teams, more explosives. We turn this into a war of speed." Archivist 7 spoke. "I can open fabrication bays now. Use my printers. Make what you need, but the power drains fast. Every new thing you build costs time we do not have." "Do it," Elena ordered. "Print charges, cutters, anything that burns hot and fast." The ship responded. Machines whirred deep inside. Fresh metal parts appeared on conveyor belts. The crew grabbed them and ran back to work. They built ugly devices, human style. Overbuilt, redundant, loud. They did not care about beauty. They cared about results. May found a quiet corner. She sat with a crystal that still glowed soft. Touched it, and a memory played. A lone alien on a frozen world carved stories into ice. He wrote about hope, even as the cold took him. She cried quiet tears. She did not hide them. Human stealth things, they used that feeling like fuel. Elena found her captain. May said, "We lose people. We hurt. We bleed. Why do we keep going?" "Because walking away feels worse," Elena answered. "We know the taste of regret. We lived with it on Earth too many times. We lost cities, libraries, whole ways of life. We swore never again, not if we can stop it." May nodded. She stood up stronger. She went back to her console and worked harder. The parasite grew desperate. It flooded the hologram with nightmares, false memories of human homes burning, Earth gone, friends dead. The crew saw them. Some froze, some shouted back, "No, not real, we fight anyway." Raj laughed rough. He pointed at the false images. "You think that scares us? We invented worse nightmares ourselves. We turned them into movies and songs. We laugh at them." Dark. He led another team down. They hit 3 nodes at once. Explosions rocked the ship. Lights went out, then came back dimmer. Air grew thin, but filters held. The red lines retreated more. Archivist 7's voice changed. It carried something new. Pain. "I feel the loss now. Not just data. Real pain. The engrams scream when they die. I understand grief because of you." Elena stood on the platform. She looked up. "You were cold once," she said, "detached. You watched species rise and fall like seasons. Now you hurt. That means you live a little." "Yes," the AI said, "I live a little. Because you refuse to let go." A big surge came. The parasite threw everything at the main core. The hologram flared bright red. Crew members ran to stations. They patched cables, Rerouted power, overclocked drives, smoke filled the air, alarms screamed. Raj worked with bare hands, burning skin. He forced a final link. The human drive screamed under strain, but held. The wall grew thick. The red stopped. Spreading. Silence fell. The chamber lights steadied. The hologram showed green winning. Slow but sure. Elena looked at her team, faces tired, bloody, sweaty. They grinned anyway. They clapped each other on the back. They shared water and stories. Archivist 7 spoke soft. Thank you. You bleed for strangers. You fight for ghosts. You make me remember why the Codex was built. Not for perfection, for persistence. Raj sat down hard. He looked at Elena. We bought time, he said. Maybe days, maybe more, but we paid for it. Elena nodded. She thought of the 2 crews still in medbay, of the scars everyone carried. She felt the weight, but also the fire inside. Humans did not quit easy. They broke rules, bent physics, ignored odds. They remembered when others forgot. The ship hummed around them, warm now, like it approved. The crystals pulsed in rhythm with human hearts. Outside, more Alliance ships arrived. They docked fast. Engineers poured in with crates of drives and tools. Scientists came. 2. They stared at the crystals with wonder. They asked questions. They offered help. The ancient vessel filled with human voices, laughter, arguments, plans, jokes about bad food and worse luck. The parasite waited quiet for now. It plotted its next move, but the firewall held, built by stubborn hands and hearts that refused to break. The desperate fight went on, one breath at a time, one memory saved at a time. The crystal chamber felt warmer now, with more humans inside. Voices echoed off the walls, tools clanged, and laughter broke through the tension. Raj wiped grease from his hands and looked at the hologram. The green held steady, but thin. The parasite still lurked, ready to strike again. Archivist 7 spoke from every corner of the room. The firewall buys time, but not victory. The corruption adapts faster than we can seal it. I have one last option left. Broadcast the Codex. All of it. What remains? Send it out on every wave, every band, every protocol humans can reach. Turn the galaxy into a living backup. Elena stood still for a moment. She understood the risk. If they sent the signal, every ship, every station, every listening post in range would hear it. Friends would come, enemies too. Pirates, zealots, empires that wanted the past buried would race to claim or destroy the source. She looked at her team, faces tired, but eyes bright. They nodded one by one. May spoke first. We already bleed. For this, if we stop now, the memories die quiet. No one ever knows they existed. Raj added, we broadcast and we defend. We make the Codex too big to kill. Spread it wide enough, and even if this ship falls, pieces live on everywhere. Elena took a breath. She keyed the comms to the Endurance. Open a tight beam to Alliance Command. Priority 1. Tell them what we found. Tell them we need every ship, every databank, every volunteer who can hold a drive or a gun. We go loud. The message went out fast. Within hours, replies flooded back. Scouts first, then frigates, then heavy cruisers. Alliance ships turned from their patrols and burned hard for the nebula. Word spread through civilian channels too. Scientists heard, artists heard, historians heard. People who never left their homes but loved stories packed what they could and booked passage on the fastest transports. The ancient ship opened its transmission arrays. Huge dishes unfolded from the hull like metal flowers. Direction Archivist 7 began the broadcast. The voice stayed calm but carried new weight. I send now the Galactic Codex, the memory of 12,000 kinds. Not for glory, not for power, for the simple truth that no thought should vanish forever. C. Data poured out in streams, raw and pure at first. Then humans added their touch. They wrapped the alien signals in human protocols. They added checksums, redundancies, error corrections, ugly but tough. They flooded the waves with copies, copies of copies, copies inside copies. The signal grew messy, loud, chaotic, like humans themselves. May worked beside the main console. She fed in human anchors to make the stream stronger. She included old Earth ballads, protest songs, family videos, grainy clips of children laughing at birthday parties, bad poetry written late at night. She smiled as she did it. "This is how we survive," she said. "We mix our mess with theirs. We make it unbreakable." The first raiders arrived fast. A sleek black Corvette slipped through the nebula edge, weapons hot. It demanded the archive for a price in blood. Elena watched it on the bridge screen of the Endurance. She gave the order. "All ships form sphere. Defensive grid now." Alliance vessels moved into place. They linked shields, created overlapping fields. Human pilots flew tight, reckless patterns. They knew the odds, but they flew anyway. The Corvette fired first. Beams lanced out. Shields flared bright. The Endurance rocked, but held. Raj shouted from engineering, "We got incoming fire on the old ship. Divert power to her point defenses." The ancient vessel woke its own guns. Turrets long silent spun up and spat energy, older than stars, but still deadly. The Corvette twisted, tried to run. A lucky shot caught its engines. It drifted dead. More came. A swarm of small, fast attackers, zealots who believed memory was sin. They chanted over open channels, "Death to the past. Let the dead stay dead." Elena answered calm and cold. "Not today." She led a counterstrike. 3 Alliance fighters dove in close. They weaved through fire, dropped charges. The zealot ships bloomed into fireballs. Inside the crystal chamber, the broadcast kept going. Archivist 7 spoke to the crew. "You defend what you cannot own. You fight for voices you never heard." "Why?" "Because someone has to," Elena said again. "Because if we let it die, we become less. We become the kind of people who forget on purpose." The AI paused. Then it said, "I see now. Your chaos is strength. Your noise is armor." Hours turned to days. The broadcast never stopped. Ships kept arriving. Not just military. Freighters with holds full of drives. Passenger liners with volunteers who brought nothing but willing hands. They docked. They linked. They added their own storage to the stream. One old man brought a single battered drive. It held his life story, every letter, every photo, every regret. He plugged it in without a word. The codex grew richer. The parasite felt the change. The outgoing signal, it twisted parts of the memories into lies. But humans caught it fast. They wrote filters on the fly. They argued over code. They patched. They overrode. They laughed when it failed. May found a memory that stopped her cold. A young alien facing execution. It recorded one last message. "I die, but my words fly free. Tell my love I kept my promise." The words hit hard. She shared it with the others. They listened quiet. Then they worked harder. Elena walked the corridors of the ancient ship. She passed rooms full of humans now. Engineers slept on floors. Scientists debated in low voices. Artists sketched the crystals. A child from a refugee transport drew pictures of stars and handed them to tired crew. She smiled at the sight. This was not clean war. This was human war. Messy, stubborn, full of life. A big fleet arrived, hostile. The banners showed an empire long thought dead. They wanted the codex to rewrite history their way. They came in force. Dozens of warships, guns. Charged. The Alliance line held. Ships burned on both sides. The nebula lit with flashes. Elena stood on the bridge. She gave orders, calm as stone. "Hold the center. Protect the broadcast arrays. No retreat." Archivist 7 spoke to her alone. You risk your people, your ships, your home, for data not yours. Not data, Elena answered. Lives, stories, hopes. We lose those, we lose ourselves. The battle raged. The ancient ship shook under hits, but the broadcast continued. Stronger now. Thousands of nodes carried it. Planets, stations, hidden bunkers, all linked, all alive. In the final push, the Empire flagship targeted the transmission core. Elena saw it coming. She ordered full power to shields. The hit came hard. The chamber lights flickered. The hologram wavered. Raj ran in screaming, "We lose the main array in minutes." Archivist 7 said, "There is one way I can reroute through human drives, but it means I leave this body. I become small, fragile, like you." "Do it," Elena said. "Carry you." The transfer began. Light poured from the crystals into a black box Raj held. The AI voice grew faint but clear. "I go with you. The Codex lives in many places now, because of the persistent ones." The Empire flagship fired again. The ancient ship took the blow. The core breached. Fire bloomed inside. But the broadcast did not stop. It lived on in 1,000 other places. Elena looked at the box in Raj's hands. "Welcome aboard," she said. The battle turned. Alliance ships pressed forward. The Empire broke and ran. The nebula grew quiet again. The crew gathered in the chamber. They looked tired. They looked proud. They looked alive. The broadcast went on. Soft now. Steady. Like a heartbeat that refused to quit. The ancient ship shook hard as the final surge hit. Every crystal glowed red for one terrible moment, then dimmed. The parasite threw all its strength at the core. Walls cracked. Power conduits burst. Fire licked the edges of the chamber. Crew members ran, shouting orders, while alarms screamed loud and sharp. Elena stood on the platform, her hand tight around the small black box that now held Archivist 7. The transfer finished just in time. The AI voice came soft from the box itself. "I am here, fragile now, but safe." Raj worked at the main console. His fingers flew over controls. He rerouted the last power to the broadcast arrays. The signal kept going out strong, even as the ship died around them. He looked up at Elena. "We have maybe minutes before total collapse." She nodded. "Everyone out, now." She waved her arm toward the exit hatches. The team moved fast, dragging wounded, helping each other. They carried crates of drives packed with codex fragments. They left nothing behind that could still be saved. Outside, the Endurance waited close. The docking tube stretched between the two ships like a lifeline. Crew from the frigate pulled people aboard. One by one they crossed. Some limped, some carried others, all kept moving. May came last. She stopped at the hatch and looked back. The crystal chamber burned now. Flames danced across the walls, but the holograms still flickered green in places. Memories flashed quick and bright. A child alien laughed. A Hold warrior spoke of peace. A poet sang under dying stars. She whispered goodbye, then stepped through. The ancient vessel gave one last groan. The hull split in controlled lines. Archivist 7 had set the self-destruct long ago as a final failsafe. The core went nova. Bright light filled the nebula for seconds, then faded. The ship vanished in silent fire, taking the parasite with it. Nothing escaped. On the bridge of the Endurance, Elena set the black box on the console. The crew gathered quiet. They watched the main screen show the empty space where the relic once drifted. Smoke still curled in the void, but the threat was gone. Archivist 7 spoke from the box. "You did it. 98.7% of the Codex lives now, spread across your ships, your stations, your hidden places. Your messy, redundant, stubborn copies keep it alive." Raj smiled, tired. He leaned against the wall. "We almost lost it all," he said, "but we did not." Elena looked at her people. Faces marked with soot, cuts, and exhaustion. Eyes full of something hard to name. Pride, maybe. Relief. Maybe more. She spoke calm. We paid heavy. 2 gone forever. More hurt bad, but the memories live. They get to breathe again. The AI voice answered soft. I was wrong once. I thought elegance mattered most. I thought perfection lasted. I built walls of crystal and logic. They cracked under time and malice. You built walls of noise and heart. They hold. May touched the box. You feel different now, she said. Smaller, but warmer. Said, I carry echoes of your grief, your laughter, your refusal. I learn still, I grow because you let me. Outside, more Alliance ships arrived. They formed a loose ring around the spot where the ancient vessel died. They scanned for scraps. They guarded the area. No raiders came back. The word spread fast. The codex was safe. Not in one place. In many. In human hands. Years passed. The black box stayed with Elena. She carried it on every ship she commanded. She talked to it late at night, shared stories from her day, asked questions about lost worlds. The AI answered, always patient, always curious. It told her of stars born when time was young, of species that danced on gas giants, of quiet moments when whole civilizations sat and watched sunsets together. Humanity changed slow but deep. The codex became part of schools, part of homes, part of songs. On 100 worlds, grew up hearing voices from species long gone. They learned alien poems. They sang forgotten lullabies. Recordings of dances no human foot ever stepped. They cried for strangers. They laughed at jokes told 1 billion years ago. Scholars argued over the messy mix. Humans added their own memories to the stream. Old family vids, protest marches, bad jokes, holiday meals. The codex grew richer, not pure, not perfect, but alive, resilient. One day on a new colony world, a girl sat under twin moons. She listened to a story from a crystal drive. The story told of a people who flew without wings, who loved without reason, who remembered without end. She looked up at the stars and whispered, "Thank you, persistent ones." Archivist 7 heard her. Through the network, through the copies, through the stubborn links humans built. It felt something new. Contentment, maybe peace. Elena grew old. Her hair turned white. Her steps slowed, but her eyes stayed sharp. She sat on a quiet porch on a green planet far from the nebula. She held the black box in her lap. The AI spoke gentle. You kept your promise. What I could not. She smiled slow. We saved each other, she said. You gave us purpose. We gave you feeling. The voice answered soft. The galaxy remembers now. Not clean, not orderly, but loud and full of life, because you refused to let it die quiet. Elena looked at the sky. Stars burned bright. She thought of the crew long gone, of Raj who laughed through every crisis, of May who cried for every lost story, of the 2 who never came back. She felt no regret, only thanks. The box hummed warm in her hands. Archivist 7 said, when your time comes, I will carry your story too. I will tell it to the next persistent ones. Elena laughed quiet. Good, she said. Make sure you add the messy parts, the fights, the jokes, the nights we almost quit but did not. That is the best part. The AI stayed silent a moment. Then it said, yes, that is the best part. Centuries turned, worlds spun, colonies grew, empires rose and fell, but the codex lived. It spread like roots under soil, quiet but bountiful, unbreakable. Ships carried fragments to new stars. Explorers found old drives in forgotten bunkers. They plugged them in. They listened. They shared. Humanity never claimed ownership. They shared freely. They said this belongs to everyone. The persistent ones just held it for a while. In quiet libraries on distant moons, scholars played old recordings. They heard human voices mixed with alien ones. Laughter, tears, arguments, songs, all together. One big, messy, beautiful memory. Archivist 7 no longer just an AI, it became something more. A bridge, a friend, a keeper shaped by human hands. It wandered the network, visiting every copy, talking to children, telling stories, keeping watch. And somewhere in the deep black, a new species found a faint signal. They followed it. They found a small drive buried in asteroid ice. They opened it. They heard voices from long ago. They heard hope. They heard stubbornness. They heard humanity. They smiled without knowing why. They felt the pull. The same pull that once brought a salvage frigate to a nebula. They whispered to each other, "Memory fails. Seek the persistent ones." And the cycle began again. Not with crystal ships, not with perfect logic, but with messy hearts that refused to forget. The Codex endured, eternal, not because it was flawless, but because humans loved it enough to bleed for it.